Welcome back to Back Alley Bonsai. My name is Michael. Today on Back Alley Bonsai, I'm going to be working on repotting this Monterey Cypress here. It kind of self-selected in the wind over the last couple of days. It's been a little breezy. It's been in this really narrow orchid pot, which I've been using as a root growing pot, and so it's been a little top heavy. It's been leaning for quite some time, and so over the last couple of days the wind's gotten pretty crazy and knocked it over a couple of times, and as you can see, knocked out most of the soil in the roots. I kind of propped it back together just so that the roots didn't dry out overnight. Yeah, so it's actually looking really healthy. These roots are all really strong. I may comb these out a little bit and work on them. And I'm going to be moving it into this grow pot. So you may be saying to yourself, now hold on just one second, Michael. That grow pot, that looks an awful lot like a kitchen colander, and to that I say, how dare you? Just kidding. It is a kitchen colander. The reason why I'm using this as a pot is this will encourage drainage for the plant, or for the soil. As the moisture drains out, it'll drag air into the soil, help aerate the soil, and it should help to cause the roots to further ramify and become more fibrous, rather than just thickening up. The tree's natural tendency is to put down a couple of really thick roots. It's just generally more efficient that way, especially if the soil is really dense. And if the roots reach points of air through these little openings, then it will kill off the tips and it will branch new roots further back. It's simply a way of pruning. It's called air pruning. So that's basically the plan. I'm going to put it in about yay, and then hopefully allow this tree to continue to grow. The idea is to allow this tree to grow nice and big and strong and thicken up over the course of the next year or so. Get a nice thick trunk on it, and just generally get a bigger tree. I want to have a bigger specimen to work with. So I'm pretty excited about that. I may have to tie this guy down and get some wire in order to do that. And then after that, I'm going to be working on just potting up some little seedlings right here. I have some lemon seeds that I set out to germinate, and we'll see how they turned out. I see some growth, so it's probably time to put these guys into some soil and see how they went. I'll give you guys some close-ups as I do that work as well. So I'll catch you on the other side of the break. Stay tuned. Okay, so what I've got here is the cypress, and you can see it's really healthy. It's really well overgrown. I did a bit of a trunk chop, and it's really leaning this way. I've got a little bit of an S curve in it. I haven't decided on a front on this thing. I haven't made any real long-term styling decisions. I'm just trying to grow this particular tree out and get the roots nice and healthy. So I'm going to start off with just sort of raking out some of these longer roots on the bottom. I don't want to do too much. I don't really want to injure it in any way. I just kind of want to open everything up a little bit here, and hopefully develop some nice fine radial roots. I'm combing outwards. You can see right here the idea that I'm going to break up any crossing roots. Got a nice big crossing root right there, which I don't really like. I may have to clip that off after I get it in the pot, or maybe I'll wait for it to grow a little bit more. This one there. But the idea here is to get most of the roots set up in a generally radial sort of pattern, and you can kind of get them flowing outwards from the plant itself. I'm not too worried about how far down those roots go, because again, this tree is going to be going into this nice deep pot with lots of drainage. So, and again, just a regular ordinary kitchen colander. And we'll start by putting soil in there. And this, by the way, this is the orchid pot that I started them off in. It was a really effective way of getting that branching root structure. It originally had a very tight root ball on it, and this has actually helped it to really mature quite a bit in very little time. So, and again, I'm just sort of generally mounding up the soil towards the center right there. And I'm going to take these roots and try and get them to fan outwards a bit from the center. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. And we're just gonna move in a generally, like I said, outward radiating kind of pattern. And that looks like it's about the right depth, so that's where I'm gonna stick him. I'm gonna stick him right in the middle. And hopefully, when all is done, the weight of the soil will be enough in this case to hold this tree down. Because I don't think the tree was blowing out of the pot. I think the whole pot, because it's tall and narrow, was just going over in the wind. The winds out here can get pretty nasty. You get gusts of 30 miles an hour or so, and this tree is a bit of a sail on it there. So again, I'm mostly just going to come through and just tap all the soil down. Let's move this over just a bit so you can get a better look at it. I'm not too worried about getting it under the roots. If this were a more established tree or a different kind of pot, like a more permanent flat bottom pot or something where I was worried about soil not getting under the roots or getting air pockets in there, I might be a little bit more cautious. I might be doing a little bit more massaging. But in this particular case, with this pot and this tree, that's not really a huge issue. There's a little more soil in there. Excellent. I want to make sure I get all of those nice surface roots covered in soil. Encourage some nice strong root growth. Like I said, radially rather than strictly vertically. Because trees have a natural tendency to want to grow up and down. It's just what they want to do. So that's basically it. That's him potted up right there. Let me back this away. I'll give you a wide angle on it here. Yeah, there's a pretty good wide angle shot of the entire tree. And give you kind of a bit of a spin around so you can see it from all angles. It's not a lot to see. This tree's got a long way to go before it really matures into what we consider a bonsai. I'm just trying to get as much potential out of all of this growth as I possibly can. And there we go. There's that Monterey Cypress. All right, next up is going to be these lemon tree seeds. I have no idea what varietal of lemons these are, but this is always kind of a crapshoot on these anyway. You never really know whether or not you're going to get something close to the parent variety anyway. So all I did with these guys is I kind of took the outer shells off of them. I placed them in this paper towel, which I then soaked. I placed them into this little Tupperware container and hid them away in a dark drawer for a couple of weeks. And now I am unmasking them just to see what all we wound up with here. And let's see how many of these guys have made it. This all looks really promising. Yeah. So it actually looks like that one doesn't look like it did much, but I bet it's probably no. That one's done. So that one's toast. But it does look like that looks like the same one. It does look like I got 2. So 2 is better than 0. So I'm pretty excited about that. So all I'm going to do with these guys is I'm just going to go ahead and take some regular old potting soil. I'm not going to use any of my bonsai mix for this. I'm just going to use regular old cactus soil. I'm going to place them into this little bonsai pot right here. This is a little tiny plastic trainer pot. They're cheap. You get them on Amazon. And we'll put those 2 guys in there and we'll see how they look. So I will be back in a moment with a little bit of soil for that. So this is nothing fancy, just regular old Miracle-Gro Cactus Citrus Formula potting soil. It's got a lot of coconut hair in it, which means it retains moisture really well, but it's also pretty free draining. It's kind of the base material for most of my potting soils. All right, and we'll start off by just putting a layer into the bottom of my pot here. Plump, plump, plump. And we'll sort of get that evenly distributed in there. This is very wet. It's been outside in the rain, which isn't too bad. These seedlings are definitely used to a very moist environment. There we go. And that is about right. I'm going to just carve out a couple of little niches for our seedlings here. And then we'll just drop them in. Drop you in there. And then lost them. Drop you in there. And I don't want to get them too deep in there. Just want to get them in there sort of covered up. Normally at this stage I would water the heck out of these, but honestly this soil is so wet that is not even an issue. So we'll see if they start to come up, and if they do, we'll have some updates at some point. So yeah, there we go. There's my potted up lemons, and we'll see how they do. All right then, the only thing left to do then is just give this guy a watering. So here we go. And all that we're looking for is we're waiting to see when the water starts to drain freely out of all the little holes right here, and hopefully starts to run pretty clean, and that'll tell me that everything is nice and saturated. There we go. Now it's starting to run through pretty quick. Excellent. Perfect. Thanks for watching Back Alley Bonsai, everybody. Please like, share, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. Tell your friends, and have yourselves a wonderful day.